Welcome to the ATG podcast. Me, your boy, Mr. Infinity, along with Big Fern. Knees over toes guy bailed on us today. So we're going to do it our style. And our style is working out while we doing that podcast. We're going to start with just a little bit of sled, which what I usually do when I warm up. What about you?
I always warm up with sled.
Yeah.
Upper body, lower body workout. It doesn't matter. The point of this for me is to get my lungs activated and get my heart activated, get the blood flow going.
Yeah. For me, it's the ground up approach. I like to really get my ankles and my feet dialed in and loose. And like you said, man, it's like a cardiovascular warm up too. So it's kind of like a total body thing. So, but yeah, we're going to talk to you today about Fern is a master of putting on muscle. You know, ever since I met him, he's been just a specimen. And he can play every sport. So we just talk. He's gonna play basketball, and he has baseball, and he plays golf, and he plays whatever, lacrosse, rugby.
Lacrosse
you know
might be the one I have.
Football, you know.
Football, yeah.
So in order to do those things, you have to be able to be physical. You know, he's been a professional football player. So we're gonna talk a little bit about today too, me at 46, how does somebody after they get 30s into their 40s, how do they maintain that muscle and really able to keep that flexibility, mobility, and keep the muscle at the same time? Because it's rare to find somebody that is strong and able to maintain that mobility over a course of after college in their 30s. So that's kind of be the topic today. So I'm gonna put you on the hot seat, man. So what's the secret to being strong and mobile, or even more so than strong, how to pack on and keep that weight on and still maintain that mobility?
Well, you made a lot of good points, a lot of good questions. The key to me, that's going to cover all the points, is training in a full range of motion. Why? Especially as we get older, we have a life.
Yeah.
You got busy, you got kids, you got business, trying to make money, whatever it is. You need to be efficient in your training. When we were in high school and college, maybe we could get away with 2-3 times a day workouts. So can't do that now. Also, our body doesn't recover at our age. I'm 35, 46. We don't recover the same as we did when we were 21.
Right.
So spending all that time in the gym would actually be detrimental to us now. So if we train in the full ranges of motion, with that as the key factor, like how much range of motion can I get? Natural range of motion can I achieve? Now you start to pack on the resistance, the weights. This doesn't mean you're not strong. As you said, I can play all these sports because I have a foundation of muscle at every joint. I train full range of motion on every joint. Shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, balanced both sides, right? That's the whole ATG approach, is about balance from the ground up. Okay, so it's very well known that as you age, the main indicator of life longevity is muscle mass, okay? So as people start now, whatever age you are, start now. And this is going to, the more muscle you can add on, it's going to prolong your life. And that's just proven in science. It is.
Yeah.
And you can just think about it common sense wise too, without having to get into the science. One of the main issues as we get older is people fall, right?
Yeah.
They break a bone, you know, they can't get up from bed. Can't go to the bathroom. They can't sit down and get up.
Yeah.
So last one here.
Yeah.
How do you prevent that is, well, you start now. Even if you're 70, you can start getting stronger. Don't wait until you're codependent on somebody. So one of the biggest concerns, real quick to tie it off, is like, people go, oh, well, when I train or if I train, I'm going to get tight.
Yeah.
Because that comes from like a 70s or old school bodybuilding thing. People were sacrificing, if you will, mobility for size. Well, unless you're a pro bodybuilder, and then even the best bodybuilders in the world are quite flexible, But regardless of that, you don't have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
If you train per the textbooks, yeah, maybe you're going to sacrifice it, but that's what ATG is here for. It's like we show you how to train in a full range of motion, increasing your mobility while increasing muscle mass and strength, which leads to longevity. Okay, so we're actually going to do some of these
it all goes
workouts.
hand in hand, man. That's an important point that I really don't feel like gets talked about enough, as far as like the amount of muscle you have really correlates to your longevity, even for the way your body produces oxygen or handles oxygen and handles like just everyday living. You know what I mean?
Number one thing
is longevity.
Is handling of glucose.
There you go.
So glucose is sugar. The more muscle mass you have, the more sugar your body can handle. Doesn't mean you have to have. The more muscle mass you have doesn't mean you need more sugar. It means that you can have more sugar. And so in this life, in this society, there's a lot of sugar everywhere. And there's going to be birthdays, and there's going to be holidays, and there's going to be alcohol. And if you have some of these things, the more muscle mass you have,
the more you can handle sugar,
the less damage it will cause.
Okay.
That is one of the main reasons.
What's the word for that? Is there a word for that?
It's insulin sensitivity.
Okay.
If you want to get technical, it's like your insulin sensitivity would be better the more muscle mass, which means the more muscle mass you have, the more hormones you have, the more storage sockets, like pockets you will have, let's call it, right? Keep it real simple. It's like the sugar comes in, it goes into the muscle. If you had no muscle, it gets stored as fat. You see? That's the simplest way I can explain it. So
yeah. That's important, man, because longevity, I feel like one thing about me, I just never stopped.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the biggest key in longevity that I don't think a lot of people talk. They think, I gotta work out, I gotta stretch, I gotta eat right.
Mm-hmm.
But most people are pretty fit, man, when they're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then I feel like life starts to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1 week turns into 2 weeks, turns 3 weeks, 4 weeks, month. Oh man, I'm 6 months here, 3 months here.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore you don't realize, man, but you start to spiral down. And once you start to lose muscle, then the sugar starts to, and then the balance gets turned off. And then you automatically in old age. But I think like old age really didn't have a number.
Correct. It doesn't. Like what's the definition of old? It's based off of averages. But if you change the average, if you do something completely different than the whole society, as we do in ATG on average, and what is old? When would the body be considered old and pain? You know how many memes I see every day on my feed, or when I decide to look at my feed of, I'm 30, my back hurts and you're 30. Like, I have less joint pain today at 35 than I did at 25, than I did at 15. I remember being in high school and I could, like, my hip hurt. So traditionally speaking, when you weight train and then stop, you weight train wrong. So you develop imbalances, which means joint pain. Then life catches up to you or allow, you don't know how to train with a busy lifestyle, which we also help in ATG. That's what I was talking about earlier about being efficient in the workout, bang for your buck, handling your mobility and strength in one exercise, which we're going to show some of the exercises, right? But doing this, stopping, training wrong, then leads to pain. Then, you got insulin. Now you store too much body fat. Now your health, everything else starts to go. Boom. Now you're old. You could be old at 30. You could be old at 40. I'm 35. I'm not close to old. I'm more athletic than I was at 25. And I've been training since I was 14 years old.
And I feel better now, 46, than I did at 21, 22. I was playing pro basketball. I remember waking up with knee pain. I used to have my feet used to hurt. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like old age, man, is more of a habit than like anything else.
It takes work to get old too.
What do you mean?
You can work to get old by not doing things. You see what I'm saying? Like, you need to eat bad. It's an intention. Like, I tell people, I put people's responsibility in, basically. I'm like, you didn't just get old. You worked to get old. You ate bad. You drank too much. You didn't go to the gym, and but what'd you do? You watched TV, or you went out and stayed up too late.
You intentionally killing yourself. Like
subconsciously, but
not intentionally.
There is actions that you are doing that are progressing your rate of aging.
I like to get deep though, man. So how much is that is that subconsciously wanting to take their body out of this game. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Because I feel like a lot of us like do things like unconsciously.
Yeah.
Because you're right though, man. It's almost an epidemic. Like
Yeah.
people have normalized self-destruction. They normalize. I mean, like you normal. You not normal if you don't watch porn nowadays.
Right.
Or like eat fast food
And drink
or like
and
drink.
drugs.
Yeah.
And,
If you tell somebody you don't drink, they look at you like a
you're weird.
yeah. You know what I mean? And like poison has been a
I have a part of the theory. I won't get super deep into it, but what I can say is that when you don't have a solution, or you don't know the solution, or you've looked for a solution and it's too confusing, I know that doesn't help. I know that will lead to just, well, fuck it. Let me live my life. Let me enjoy. When you don't have answers, or you've tried to look and you get wrong answers, which make it more confusing, all I can say is I know that doesn't help, and it accelerates the path down. So why did in the first place? That's even that's above my. That's I don't know.
You spent some heavy game right there, man.
I do know that our job and how I do my best, anyways, to help is by giving actual answers and solutions to things you can control. I can control what goes into my body. Famous Charles Poliquin, mentor, RFP. No one ever got mugged by a donut. That's his famous line. No one ever got mugged by a donut, by a piece of pizza. So I am in control of what goes into my body. I am in control what I do with my body. So it's like,
yeah, I love
that's what I know I can control. And I know that if I do that right, I will feel better as I get older, not worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying a lot of the self-sabotage is from
lack of
confusion.
Knowledge. Correct. Confusion is the base, I believe, of self-sabotage, of aging, of like excessive, accelerated aging, let's call it. Obviously, we're all going to age, but it's like that to answer your question, it actually stems from a confusion.
Wow. Yeah, that's heavy, man. Yeah. And I feel like, and not to get too airy-fairy or anything, but do you feel like this society matrix, for lack of a better word, is designed to keep majority of people in a confused state?
Personally, I believe so. Can't speak for everyone in ATG
and I'm
or
asking
whatever.
you personally.
Personally, Fernando Lopez thinks, yes. You know why? Now we're getting into money. If your shoulder problem is handled by hanging 30 seconds on a bar, I can't charge you for coming into my office and say, hey, hang from the bar, pay me $100. I could. Then you're going to go home and hang from the bar, and you're not going to pay me anymore. So what I have to do, not me personally, but what someone would do, due to stresses of the society, right? Because we can keep going up levels here, right? Like why? Okay. But the point is, this is all about money. So you're asking, does society keep people confused and in the dark? Absolutely. Why? Money. Because if I gave you the solution, if I said just eat this and 99% of health problems will be gone, well, then I can't charge you. I can't prescribe you a drug. I can't get you. Yeah, I can't say, here, come and get cracked every week, because if not, you're going to be in pain. Well, if you handled your training, if you handled your diet, then you wouldn't have to come see me as a chiropractor or whatever. I like chiropractor. No offense to chiropractor. I'm just anything. Doctors, it doesn't matter, right? Now, if you break your bone and your bone's out, yes, go see the doctor, surgery. Like, there is places for all these people. If you get hit by a contact sport and a bone's out, go see the chiropractor. It can help. It does. I've done it. Massage, but you got to address the root cause, the problem behind all this stuff. And the reason I do think it's so difficult for the average person to find this truth is because it takes a lot of money out of people's pockets that make a lot of money. And so we're kind of fighting an industry, like ATG is sort of fighting a larger scale thing, in my personal opinion. It's not going to be easy. It's not in the textbooks. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And that's the one thing about ATG. That's one thing that I kind of stick around, because we kind of walk our talk too. You know what I'm saying? We kind of like, I mean, you got to kind of live by your message, man. Not everybody does that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, damn, that's heavy. I never even thought about it as, I mean, obviously, this it's capitalist society, so we got to keep the money, like, you know what I mean? Got to keep the money in, but they set the game so people could be like, so even into the what they put into the foods to give you more brain fog, into what put maybe into the air or whatever. Like
Yeah,
it might,
that's what I'm saying. We
the
could
rabbit
go-
hole might go deep.
Rabbit hole
but,
can go deep, but the only thing we can control is like, yeah, there's something there. There's confusion to cause, solutions from only experts.
So this is what I was gonna say, man. So it sounds like even beyond, because where we got to ATG because we were sports. We wanted to be in shape. We were looking for a solution to be healthy, be
more
athletic, be around a certain demographic of people that were going certain places.
Yeah.
And that led us here. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that they're not looking for that. They just want a back, or they just want to be feel good, and they have zero knowledge. They didn't grow up athletes. But it sounds like the solution is just like knowledge, just in general.
Yeah.
Like if you have a problem, get knowledge. And so what would you suggest to people, man, if they like just home right now, back hurt, knee hurt, they like, yeah, sound good, buddy, but where the fuck do I start? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because all this sound good, man.
Let's start doing our workout, and
Yeah.
then I want to answer that. All right, so to answer the question is for the quote-unquote non-athlete. I don't even say average person, because you might be amazing somewhere else in life. But as a non-athlete, like, where does this play in? Like, how do
we're talking about longevity, just to give you some context.
Yeah.
We're talking about longevity, even if they were athletes when they were in their 20s.
Right.
If they're in their 30s, if they got 2 kids and a wife, and like in looking for answers, because you see a lot of times people self-sabotage because they don't have the answers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody wants their knees to be healthy. Everybody wants their back to be healthy. And I feel like if they had the answers, they may not eat that high before they go to bed. They might not wake up and eat some cereal. They might not party and drink as much because they have more hope in their reality. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was just kind of just lightly kind of asking, man, what would you say for those that like, man, damn, sound good, man, but I do feel like I'm confused. I do feel like I don't got the answers. I do feel like I self-sabotage because I'm emotionally, physically, and spiritually fucking broken.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The way I would answer that is, for longevity purposes, if you want to improve the quality of your life, the one thing that is stable, right? Like all these types of diets, all these solutions that none of them make sense, or they're too complicated, or someone's selling you something. Think about natural genetics, like my things that are undeniable, such as my arm moves this much, my knees can bend this much. So, food, how did we literally arrive to this moment in space and time on this planet? There was only certain foods on this planet.
Yeah.
Before grocery stores, before factories, before GMOs, like what was actually around to eat? So that to me was what took me from like, whoa, all these like keto and carnivore and vegan. And I was like, what the hell did we actually eat and develop in? Yeah. To me, that is the answer. That is the solution. It's like, however many carbs you want or doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Start with eating real food. Like that is the undeniable.
I feel like
that's what vegans and carnivores agree on.
Yeah.
Is they're eating real food.
Yeah.
So
first
step,
cut out the process.
Cut out the process in all aspects of life. We didn't develop with tons of TV. Now I'm not saying you can't watch TV, but like if you want to improve the quality of life, the less processing you have, whether it's food, whether it's entertainment,
sitting in air conditioning.
Go outside more. Yeah. Talk to a real human being more. Or go walk around more and experience, go to the beach if you're on the beach, go to the mountains if you're by the mountains. Whatever, it's more real life, right? So that's like a very high level approach to it.
That's a simple solution.
I think that'll get you 80% of your progress.
Hey, that's a good one.
I really do.
If you're in a low state right now, if you just cut out the process and be more natural living.
Period.
And like that's a big answer.
That's a big answer.
That's a big answer. And it might just fix your joint pain.
Exactly, eating less bad food. That alone might fix your knee pain or your back pain.
Yeah.
Now, to add another 10%, let's say for training purposes,
Yeah.
it's like, well, should I train halfway? Should I train full range? What exercises should I do?
Yeah.
A couple stable datums, right? Couple stable rules that you follow. Is if your joint, like when we were kids, we were able to do this, right? We were able to go all the way down.
Yeah.
Your arms can do this, like, so use your body as it is intended. Use your body through entire ranges of motion that it is designed to do. I'm not asking you to go beyond ranges, like natural ranges of motion.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to, compromise yourself into weak positions with heavy load. No, do what you can do pain-free through its entire ranges of motion. And then the second rule, which is a perfect exercise, is train the opposite of the motions of life. That's why we walk backwards on a sled. You're always walking forward, you're always sprinting and jumping. Okay, train the reverse. We're always sitting forward where our shoulders are rounded, or your push-ups, or you're pushing something in life, or sitting at a desk. So train the reverse, train the back muscles, okay? If you apply those two things, we call it structural balance and full range of motion training. If you apply those two things, it's gonna be very hard to go wrong.
Yeah. Strength through length.
If your strength through your entire length, if you increase your strength through your entire length and you train structurally, like balanced,
simple. You're
gonna be healthy. You're at least gonna be healthier than where you were without it. Yeah. As you get more advanced and want more muscle, okay, there's other principles that keep, but start right. Your question is to address the main basic principle, right? Yeah. Let's say you have no equipment at home. Doesn't matter. Get down there and you want to go full range, do a full push-up. Get that arm full range. Get this arm full range. Okay? Get your squats. Your knees, you're too weak? Good. Hold on to something. Get on your toes. Bend that knee all the way down. Yeah. Hold on to something. Stretch the back of the leg, the hamstrings, as much as they can go. And you keep progressing this, right? Yeah. You progress it as much as your personal goals. If you want to be a pro athlete, okay, you're going to have to progress it a lot. If you want to feel better, just doing that from 0 to that, again, it's going to get you 80% of your progress.
Yeah, that's another 10, so that's 90%.
Yeah, 10 overall, 80 of training. It depends how you want to look at it, but basically, you just train full range of motion.
I would say, I'm not to cut you off, but I would say also, maybe you're going to make that point, but training full range of motion almost is the antidote to pain, though. Like, I feel like once you do that, even if you have pain, once you start doing full range of motion, your pain usually more times than not is going to...
It's that combo. It's the balance. So but even pain a lot of times is because something is out of balance in one direction.
It is the combo.
But it's also weak.
It's weak and inflexible. That's why I said
imbalance.
Pain is kind of like a signal of weakness or tightness.
Absolutely. Paul used to say this all the time. A tight muscle is a weak muscle. A weak muscle is generally, not always, but generally a tight muscle. Okay, so
you said tight muscle is a weak muscle.
A tight muscle is a weak muscle.
The
reason it's so tight is it's compensating for its weakness. So it just locks up because it goes, hey, for any maybe nerd that's going to attack me, it's not always the case, but very often.
All police out there.
I know. Yeah. But very often, I'll stand on this, probably 90% of the time that I've trained thousands of people. I find a weak glute, whatever quad, it's always weak. Because think about it as a compensation. It's going, hey, this is so weak in this range of motion that we're going to lock it here real tight so that you don't injure it. So you actually have to strengthen it while, increasing that range of motion. And all of a sudden, it loosens up and you're significantly stronger. So a tight muscle is almost always a weak muscle.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. That's a great answer. And I would say, adding on to that, for me, longevity is kind of going from the ground up, making sure your feet, your ankles.
Well, I want to ask you, since we're talking about muscle, sorry to cut you there. It's like, I'm 35 and I'm already knowing and seeing my longevity improve. Yeah. Right. I feel better now. I'm like, how's that? Right. I'm reverse aging almost. Right. But for you, as someone 46, going on 47, where do you feel that like this muscle mass? Like, two questions is where do you feel and how do you see it progressing for you as you carry on, and then also how would you tell someone who is maybe your age, like how to maintain that, like whatever muscle mass they have, how do they grow a little or even maintain it? Like what do you do to do all that?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I would say, like I was saying on the sleds, man, like don't stop. You know what I mean? Even if you got 20 minutes, 15 minutes, like you said, get down there and do some squats and some push-ups every day. But your body is your body is like I said, I don't really feel like age is a chronological thing, man. You know what I mean? And I feel
it's like a condition more.
It's a condition, you know what I mean? And
state of your body's condition.
that's a good, man. That's a good way to put it. That's
like
yeah. And so I say just stay consistent. And I feel like following these principles that you just laid out is key. You know, full range of motion, start from the ground up, making sure you got structural balance. And then go back, man. I think it's so simple, man. Go back to the processes of life. Just going, you know what I mean? Walking backwards, undoing a lot of those things, and then unprocessing your life, or like kind of taking notes of where my life process and what things can I return to their original state. But for me personally, man, I'm lucky, bro. Like I'm blessed to have a pretty good constitution.
Okay.
And because my life is, man, I'm pretty like still trying to figure life out at 46, man. I got 2 sons. I'm trying to help ATG, trying to still figure my game out. You know what I mean? So
but that might be beneficial for someone who thinks they are failed at 45 years old.
Real, man. Life is gonna be tough, man. Like I don't give a fuck who you are. Yeah. You're gonna go through struggles in life, man. So I would say making sure that you prioritize like taking your health with you wherever you go. Like, you know what I mean? Because
it's only gonna make it harder.
Wherever you go, man, you want to have your health with you. Yeah. You don't want to be sitting there with a fucking stomach and broke. You know what I mean? And exactly. and a trauma happens in your life, because everybody's gonna go through big upheavals in life, man. I don't care who you are. So
to double on that is my dad is 73. Yeah. Has drastically improved his health since he turned 70.
Wow.
He's healthier now. He's younger now. I say this all the time. He's more full of life now. Yeah. Got more life than he did at 55.
Wow.
And you know, part of it is
attribute that to?
It's diet. Mm-hmm. He's carnivore, but it's diet. It's not eating processed foods. He trains and he took care of his health, right?
He maintained it all the way through.
He would always worked out, but he gained like
he's 60 pounds. Like you and your brothers?
Well, now he is. Yeah. He was 60 pounds overweight. He ate ice cream and pizza. And he has health conditions but like he has reversed his aging at 70, so it's never too late. Yeah. And I look at him now, and he just bought a house in Colombia, you know, like a little house in Colombia, and he's in Miami. Life never ends. There's no such thing as you hit 50 or 60 and like, well, now I'm not moving. I think he's acting like me at 35. He's over double my age, and he's going through the same stuff I'm going through in life. Same thing that you're going, like, it never ends. And so, like you said, I love your point is don't let health be another. It's actually simple, right? Like if you just apply these couple principles, like that no longer has to be a problem for you. Yeah. And it actually can increase the potential of everything else.
Yeah. I feel like people look at you differently too, man, when you are in a better shape, better condition. I feel like it speaks to a mind. Like, you know what I mean, kind of?
Yes.
Like it's like
to be able to control what you put in your body, you have to have a decent mind.
Yeah. I feel like our bodies are just an expression of our mental state. Like, you know what I mean?
I like so. Yes, I agree.
This is like the feedback of where you at on a consciousness level.
It's the product of your consciousness, if you will. Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's definitely partly that. You can't deny that.
What's that?
You can't deny that it's at least partly that, you know, it's
or
because if I have a weak mind, then I can't disconnect from this processing, as I call it, right? The matrix processing.
They gotta pull on you.
If you can't control that, and I keep eating the pizza and the donuts and watching the porn, well then, then my body won't look good, which means my mind it's like you said, it's a sign It's not a perfect 1-to-1 ratio. Some people can watch porn the rest of their life. It's fine. I don't even care. It's like, we're just talking about general principles here that, some people eat pizza and donuts and they seem fine, but guess what? They might be fine in their 20s. They might be fine in their 30s. They might be fine in their 40s. I promise you it's going to catch up. That's why you have heart attacks at 35, at 45, at 55. That comes from a food. It comes from too much sugar, from processed crap, okay? So if you control, like you said, if you have a strong mind, you'll be able to control what you do with your body. It's an expression of your minds.
Yeah. And not to get, we, me and you, we should do a podcast every day, man. But to speak on the mind part, it's either you controlling your mind or the matrix is controlling your mind.
Someone else is. Who's controlling? Outside or internal? Internal or external?
Like that's a real, that's an ongoing game, bro. Yeah. Like, you got to be stay extra vigilant to, and that all goes back to, I think exercise helps you with that control. Like if you know you're going to work out every day, that creates a discipline and a habit. Like, and how you see yourself. Like I feel like you have a self-image of Fernando.
Right.
Like you're never going to let yourself get past a certain point.
Right.
Of physical condition. Like I've been knowing you for 15 years now.
Yeah.
I've never seen you out of a certain condition. You may slip up.
Slight fluctuations.
Yeah, but all right, it's time to get back to, what I mean? So I feel like how you see yourself is
absolutely
another point.
Stress, internal decisions like discipline that you're talking about. This is why this whole wave of cold tubs, right? Ice baths.
Yeah, cold plunging.
What's the real thing here? Why are people loving it? Why is it actually good for you? Outside of the cold and all the sign, the tech and the cold shock protein, all that crap.
Yeah.
It's overcoming. It's discipline. It's the mental ability. That's what you're getting 90% of the gains is saying, I don't want to do this, but you do it anyways. Exercise. No one wants to. I'm gonna be honest. Some people do. After 20 years of it, for me, after playing sports and kind of it becoming work instead of enjoyment, I don't really want to. Yeah. It's not like I love burning right now, how I'm feeling right here. It's like, I learned to love it, but it's because I've trained through discipline in my body and doing something that I don't want to do over and over. That is a win. That is something we all win on. And when you win, it leads to more wins. So cold tubs, looking at the piece of pizza and donut and saying, not today. And then getting a beef stick, like that's a win. Those things build. And the more you win in one area of life, any area of life, you're going to win in the rest of the areas of life. That's why people get in a good relationship, they make money. Or they're making good money. Sometimes they find good relationships. Or they can now get health. Wins in one area lead to wins in all areas. So the one thing I know how to help with and that I can do personally in this life is I know how to control my body. I know that whenever I'm feeling down, force myself to come to the gym. Not because I'm in control. And the moment I feel that control, all of a sudden, I have a little less depression. I'm like, okay, life isn't completely overwhelming me. I'm this much in control.
I got it, yeah.
And now I can go eat, and now I eat a little bit better than I would have. Oh, now I'm actually that much more. Oh. And you see how I'm saying? And it just starts to chip away at that depression.
You get the momentum.
And it's a game, like you said. It's always gonna, But the more consistent you're on a win, on doing what you want to do and what you should do, and this is an easy way to do that. That's why I love it.
Yeah. My last point, man. We can shut it down. But my last point is being in an environment that is conducive to where you want to be in life too. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I feel like the community that you surround yourself with is going to like shape you. You know what I mean? Even if sometimes you got to get away from your so-called friends, something so-called family, so-called
could be family,
city, so-called whatever.
City, family.
You gotta find your people that are going to mirror what you want to
absolutely
see in your reality. Like, you know what I mean? Find a mentor, find a community. Lock in with ATG.
That's another thing ATG does provide. We have, I will say, like, obviously, not every group, everybody's perfect. Never will be in the history of mankind. Yeah. As an average, we're a really good group. We're really positive. We try never to attack. We try not to lie. Obviously, can't say that forever. We people are people, but
Yeah.
we really do our best. And the famous line, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I hope that as we shut this down, I hope that you spend some time on our social media. I honestly, like, if you go to our social media, you're going to be lifted up. You're not going to be getting the hate comment. We don't get into hate. This is just one of the many ways I try to always influence the few people I can influence in life. Hopefully I add some positivity and just knowledge, right? And hopefully then it leads to the next guy being a little more positive and having a little more knowledge so he can tell his family, tell his sister, tell his girlfriend, like, oh, try this exercise, try backwards. Oh, it just spreads one thing after another. So always try to be positive here in ATG. And
Yeah, your community's huge, man. So back to the basics, man. Back to the basics. Cut the process out. Strength through links.
Yeah.
Structural balance.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with good people.
Sounds
you
good.
Mean, you know what I mean? You live forever.
Amen. Or you at least live longer, better longer.
I'll let you know how forever lasts.
Yeah.